Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
First method of devotion, the first stages of devotion. In the Padma Purana also the same process is advised. There it is said that one should always remember Lord Vishnu. This is called jnana or meditation, always remembering Krishna. It is said that one has to meditate with his mind fixed upon Vishnu. Padma Purana recommends that one always fix his mind on the form of Vishnu by meditation and not forget him at any moment. And this state of consciousness is called samadhi or trance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since today is Ekadashi, Ekadashi is very auspicious day, and it was especially recommended by Lord Chaitanya to always follow Ekadashi. He didn't give so many instructions, but one of them was that we should always follow Ekadashi. He instructed his mother to never break Ekadashi. So I would like to read the pastime of Ekadashi today, because it is very auspicious to hear about that particular Ekadashi. This is sometimes they do like this, they always read the pastime of a particular Ekadashi. So I would like to read first, and then we can read Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a very interesting pastime anyway. Today's Ekadashi is called Papa Mochani or Papa Harini Ekadashi. The glories of Papa Mochani Ekadashi are described in the Bhagavatam Purana in a conversation between Lord Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthira. Once Maharaj Yudhishthira asked, "My dear Lord Krishna, please describe the Ekadashi that occurs during the morning moon in the months of March, April. What is the name of this Ekadashi? Also describe the process for observing this Ekadashi and its results." Lord Krishna replied, "O best of kings, the name of this Ekadashi is Papa Mochani. Long ago, the glories of this Ekadashi were spoken by Lomasa Rishi to King Gandaka. This Ekadashi removed all one's sinful reaction, destroy one's costly condition of life, and rewards 8 kinds of mystic perfections. Lomasa Rishi told King Mandata, Kubera, the treasure of the demigods, had a beautiful forest of flowers called Chaitrarata, where the weather was always pleasant. The Apsaras, Gandharvas, and Kinnaras enjoyed sporting there. Demigods headed by Indra will also come there to enjoy. A great sage named Medavi lived in that forest, engaged in performing austerities. The Apsaras tried to restore the sage in various ways. The famous Apsara named Manshubosha devised a plan to captivate the mind of the sage. Out of fear of him, she built a cottage a distance from the ashram and began to sing sweetly as she played a veena. Upon seeing beautiful Manshubosha, Cupid also decided to conquer the sage. Medavi was a staunch devotee of Lord Shiva, and Cupid was the enemy of Lord Shiva. You remember why Cupid is the enemy of Lord Shiva? Does anyone remember?
Something to get bent to ashes.
Yeah. Once Lord Shiva had burned Cupid to ashes because he wanted to shoot an arrow at Shiva, and Shiva got angry and burned Cupid to ashes. Therefore, remembering his previous enmity, Cupid wanted to take revenge. He entered the body of the sage, who then became as attractive as the second Cupid. Manchugosa then slowly came and embraced the sage. Overwhelmed by lust, Medavi forgot his worshipable Lord and became so intoxicated in her association that he spent many years enjoying with her. When Manchugosa saw that the sage had fallen down from his position, he decided to return to her abode in the heavenly planets. She requested him, "O sage, now please give me permission to return home." Medavi will not allow her to leave. So for 57 years, 9 months, and 3 days, Manchugosa remained with him, fearing he will curse her if she left. For the sage, the time appears to be only half a night. Again, Manchugosa asked permission to return home, but the sage said, "Oh, beautiful one, it is only morning. Please wait until I finish my morning rituals." Then the Apsara smiled and said to the sage with amazement, "O great sage, how long it will take for you to complete your morning rituals? You have spent many years enjoying my association, therefore please consider the actual value of time." Upon hearing these words of the Apsara, the sage came to his senses. After carefully calculating the time he had spent with her, he said, "Alas, O beautiful one, I have simply wasted more than 57 years of my valuable time. You have ruined everything and spoiled all my austerities." Interesting, eh? It's all her fault. That's interesting. The eyes of the sage filled with tears, and his entire body began to tremble. Sage Medavi then cursed Manchugosa as follows: "You have behaved like a Pisachi witch. Therefore, you will immediately become a witch, all sinful and chaste lady. Shame on you." Manchugosa humbly prayed to Medavi, "O best of the Brahmanas, please withdraw your heavy curse. I have spent many years in your company. O Lord, for this reason I am a fit candidate for your forgiveness. Please be merciful to me." The sage replied, "What will I do now? You have destroyed my entire wealth of austerity. Still, I will tell you the way to free from this curse. The Kalashi which occurs during the waning moon in the months of April is called Papamachani. It is a rite of destroying all sinful reactions. If you follow this Ekadashi strictly and faithfully, then your Pisachi condition of life will be vanquished." After speaking these words, Medavi returned to the ashram of his father, Chavana Muni. Then Chavani saw his fallen son. He became extremely unhappy and said, "Oh my son, what you have done? You have ruined yourself. You should not have spoiled your entire treasury of austerity simply being captivated by the Nafsar." Medavi replied, "Respected father, I have committed great sins in the association with these Apsaras. Please instruct me how to be released from my sinful reactions." On hearing this word of repentant son, Chavana said, "My son, by observing Papalochani Karashi, which falls during the waning moon on the months of March and April, one sinful reactions are completely destroyed. Therefore, you should observe this Ekadashi." On hearing these kind words of his father, sage Medavi accepted Papalochani with faith and enthusiasm. By the influence of this Ekadashi, all the sinful reactions were destroyed. Manchugosa also observed this auspicious Papamochani Ekadashi and became liberated from her miserable Pisachi form. She regained her divine form and returned to heaven. After narrating the story of Tuki Mandata, Lomasa Rishi concluded, "My dear king, by observing Papamochani Ekadashi, one all one's simple reactions resulting from killing a brahmana, killing an embryo, drinking wine, and associating with one whose wife are totally uprooted and destroyed. But observing or reading the glories of this Ekadashi, one achieves the result of donating 1,000 cows. So you just donated 1,000 cows. One. Okay. Since this sacred Ekadashi is so auspicious and the destroyer of all sins, everyone should strictly observe Papamoshani Ekadashi. Papamoshani Ekadashi.
Jai.
So we are also reading Bhagavatam. We are starting a new chapter. It's called what Prahlad learned in the womb. Text number 1 is not
Number 1 was done yesterday.
okay, number 2.
Number 2 onwards, but is it number 9 has a purport, I think.
Sri Prahlad Vacha.
Shri Prahlad Vacha. Pitari. Tapase Mandarachalam. Chakrur. Vibhudadanavam Prati. Shri Prahlad Vacha. Pitari prastite smakam. Tapase Mandarachalam. Yudhodhyamambaram Chakru. Vibhudadanavan Prati. Shri Prahlad Vacha. Pitari prastite smakam. Tapase Mandarachalam. Yudhodhyamam param chakru. Vibhudadanavan Prati.
Shri Prahlad Uvacha.
Shri Prahlad Vacha. Pitari prastite smakam. Tapase Mandarachalam. Yudhodhyamam param chakru. Van Prati. Shri Prahlad Vacha. Pitari prastite smakam. Tapase Mandarachalam. Yudhodhyamam param chakru. Vibhudadanavan Prati. Shri Prahlad Vacha. Pitari prastite smakam. Tapase Mandarachalam. Yudhodhyamam param chakru. Vibhudadanavan Prati.
Shri Prahlad Uvacha.
Shri Prahlad Vacha.
Pitari prasthite smakam.
Pitari prastite smakam.
Tapase mandarachalam.
Tapase Mandarachalam.
Yudhodhyamam param chakru.
Rudhodhyamam param chakru.
Vibhudadanavan prati.
Vibhudadanavan Prati. Shri Prahlad Vacha. Pitari prastite smakam. Tapase Mandarachalam. Yudhodhyamam param chakru. Vibhudadanavan Prati.
Shri
Shipraraduvacha. Prahlad Maharaj said, Pitari, when the demon father Hiranyakashipu Praspite left Asmakam our Tapase to execute austerities. Mandarachalam, the hill known as Mandarachala, Yuddha Udyamam, exertion of warfare. Param, very great. Chakru, executed. Vibuddha, the demigods headed by King Indra. Danavan, the demons. Prati, towards.
Prahlad said, when our father Hiranyakashipu went to Mandarachala mountain to execute severe austerities, in his absence, the demigods headed by King Indra made a severe attempt to subdue all the demons in warfare. So we have a few verses without purport, so I will just read the translation. Text number 3. Alas, as a serpent is sitting by his small ants, so the troubles from Hiranyakashipu, who always inflicted misery upon all type of people, has now been defeated by the reaction of his own sinful activities. Saying this, the demigods headed by King Indra arranged to fight the demons. 4 and 5. When the great leaders of the demon who were being killed one after another, saw the unprecedented exertion of the demigods in fighting, they began to flee, scattering themselves in all directions simply to protect their life. They hastily fled from their homes, wives, children, animals, and household paraphernalia. Paying no heed to all this, the demons simply fled. Page number 6. The victorious demigod plundered the palace of Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, and destroyed everything within it. Then Indra, king of heaven, arrested my mother, the queen. Text number 7. As she was being led away, crying in fear like a Kumari captured by vulture, the great sage Narada, who at that time had no engagement, appeared on the scene and saw her in that condition. Text number 8. Narada Muni said, O Indra, king of the demigod, this woman is certainly sinless. You should not drag her off in this merciless way. O greatly fortunate one, this chaste woman is the wife of another. You must immediately release her. Text number 9. King Indra said, in the womb of this woman, the wife of the demon Hiranyakashipu is the seed of that great demon. Therefore, let her remain in our custody until her child is delivered, and then we shall release her. Otherwise, the one grace receive of the Indra, the king of heaven, decided to arrest Prahlad's mother because he thought that another demon, another Hiranyakashipu, was within her womb. The best course, he thought, was to kill the child where the child was born, and then the woman would be released. Shipraradu vacha pitani kastite smakam tapase mandarachalam yuto yaman param chakru vidutanam prati. God Maharaj said, when our father Hiranyakashipu went to the Mandarachala mountain to execute severe austerities, in his absence, the demigods headed by King Indra made a severe attempt to subdue all the demons in warfare. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasa Gaura Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama.
This is a very interesting chapter of how the Lord protects his devotee. Demigods are highly intelligent, especially Lord Indra, he's the king of heaven. So they thought that Hiranyakashipu is a demon, his son will be a demon. And as it is said, there is no better enemy than the one who is dead. So they said, okay, let's do something. Let's take the mother of Prahlad, and then when the kid is born, we kill the kids by any means, and then we just release this woman because they understood she's not guilty of anything. But the vision of the demigods is very limited, whereas the vision of the pure devotee is Trikalagya. So Narada Muni could see that this is a mistake, this is wrong. She's sinless and the kid is also sinless, even though he's the son of a demon. So what the demigods did was to wait until the Hiranyakashipu was far away so they could attack. That could be seen as a cowardly act because Kshatriyas, they don't behave this way. They always confront the enemy directly and not when they are not there. So that could be seen that way. But we understand that actually the demigods, they were working for the welfare of the mankind, for the welfare of the universe. So they thought that this would be the best course of action, just to release and to attack when there is a weak point. And the weakest point was when Hiranyakashipu was not there, obviously, because the other demons were not as powerful as Hiranyakashipu. But Narada Muni, he prevented them to doing that because he understood this is a mistake. Because we will see the other verses that how Narada Muni explained that actually you cannot kill Prahlad Maharaj. Even if you try to kill Prahlad Maharaj, you won't be able to kill him because he is directly protected by Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the demigods were about to plan their game, like they have done, especially Indra, so many times in the past. He made so many mistakes. And seems to be that Narada Muni always appeared in the perfect place at the perfect time to instruct someone on the right path. And very interestingly, he he's able to convince anyone. We see he convinced Kamsa, he convinced demons and demigods alike. He convinced Hunter to stop his nefarious activities and to chant the holy name. This is what Prabhupada is a perfect preacher who knows how to preach according to time, place, and circumstances. And Narada Muni is the best example of that. And for devotees, I think we should always follow in the footsteps of Narada Muni, and we should always learn how to preach according to time, place, and circumstances. So today I would like to dedicate some, main part of this lecture to talk about preaching, because it's something very important and something that devotees do all the time. The life of a devotee is preaching. So Prabhupada always encouraged devotees to preach Krishna consciousness. This is how Krishna consciousness is expanded during Prabhupada time and after Prabhupada left. So, but it's very important that we learn the art of preaching. I'm not saying here I'm expert, I'm still learning, and I'm just a work in progress. But I have a little bit of experience about preaching by being in book distribution for many years and preaching in different capacities. So I would like to emphasize some points which are very important and that we should always keep in mind when we preach, especially to new people. And we see in Karuna Bhavan we have a special, how to say, a special situation, but because we have a lot of new people, a lot of volunteers and people who never been in contact with the Krishna consciousness before. So we need to learn how to preach to them in an effective way. And by preaching, I'm not saying that we should directly tell them about philosophy, because many things are considered preaching. Prasadam is preaching, Kirtan is preaching, giving a book is preaching, be nice with them is also preaching. So preaching is not necessarily just talking about philosophy. And we can see when Prabhupada came to the West, the way he presented Krishna consciousness. We see he hardly gave any long lectures. He mainly was sitting, focused on the square park and just chanting Hare Krishna and giving them prasadam whenever possible. And Prabhupada said that for new people, this is the main thing, Kirtan and prasadam. This is the main preaching. Of course, we need to tell them about Krishna consciousness as well, but only if they ask about it. And we see sometimes when devotees they try to preach to new people, and you wonder why he telling them about the expansions of Mahavishnu and the ocean of milk. That's not the proper way. And another characteristic on his preaching that Prabhupada was doing to the new people, he never told them about the four regulated principles. And this is very important, because that would be very discouraging for new people to know about the four regulated principles and to tell them that they need to follow this principle, because it is very hard, it is very difficult. And normally people, they come with all kind of attachment. Some people are attached to drinking, some people are attached to smoking or eating meat, whatever. whatever the attachment may be. But it's very difficult to give up these things. And the only way to give up this is to have a higher taste. And the only way to have a higher taste is when people develop this taste by kirtan, by taking prasad, by the association with the devotees. This is the only way they can develop this taste and then give up these bad habits. I remember when I had a job, a regular job. And one of my co-workers, he was really like gross guy. He was only talking about girls and girls and girls. He didn't talk about anything. And he was really, he was a very special guy. And then I decided, okay, I need to somehow help this guy. So I started to give him Mahaprasad every day from my shalagans. Every single day I would give him Mahaprasad. And then one day he said to me, you know, this food is special. This food is very, it's not ordinary food. He said, this is not an ordinary food. This is something special. And then after that time, he became very peaceful. I couldn't believe the change on him. And I never told him about Krishna because he was not ready. This is another thing that when Prabhupada sees somebody eat meat, Prabhupada never go beyond the point of preaching about vegetarianism. Prabhupada never. You can see when he spoke with this priest, Daniel in France, he only talked about killing animals. He never, you can see the video, he never talked about anything else. Even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is the best example actually, when he spoke with Shankasi, what is the first question he asked Shankasi? Does anyone remember?
Okay.
He said, why you're killing cows, why you're eating cows? He didn't say, because Shankasi wanted to stop the Sankirtan movement. He didn't say, why did you want to stop this, the Harinam? Why did you want to stop the Sankirtan movement? He didn't talk any philosophical point. Why you don't believe in Bhagavad Gita? He didn't say any of that. He said, why you are killing cows and why you are eating cows. So this is very important. First, there are two things when we preach that we need to do before preaching. First, we need to do is to pray to Srila Prabhupada to give us intelligence to preach according to time, place, and circumstances efficiently to that particular person. And the second thing we need to do is we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the other person and to understand what is their understanding, what is their condition, what is their interest, and only then we can preach to that person. Without that, our preaching will be basically a waste of time. And if you see that person need meat, we should never go beyond the point of talking about vegetarianism. Because unless one is vegetarian, he cannot understand about Krishna. It's not possible. The state of conscience is so covered by the simple activity of eating animals that it's very difficult for them to understand. So we see this in the example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada. If the person don't tell them about Krishna, there is no point. And sometimes the best preaching is not preaching. Sometimes this is the best preaching. So when people come here which are new, that they don't know anything about Krishna, don't start telling them about esoteric topics of Krishna consciousness. That's not the best way. The best way is to be friendly with them, to assess their interest in Krishna consciousness. If they ask questions, you can ask you can obviously reply to them. Don't tell them about the correlated principles, too discouraging when you are new. And just be friendly with them and give them prasadam, encourage them to chant Hare Krishna if they want to. Because this is also one of the offenses to the holy name, to preach to the faithless. So we need to see if the person is faithless, and then we just be nice with them, friendly with them, give them prasadam, encourage them to participate in the programs. And in this way, the person will gradually develop the taste and the interest in Krishna consciousness. And then when they be interest, they will be asking questions. And I'm not saying we should not preach. I'm not saying we had this conversation with Ananda Vigraha a few days ago. I'm not saying we should not preach. We should not give lectures. That's not. I'm not saying at all that. But we should be able to assess the understanding and the position of the other person before we do that. And we should keep it simple. The problem is sometimes as devotees, we create our own little bubbles. And in our own little bubbles, we stop to see how people see us. And then we cannot preach effectively because we don't understand what they are seeing. And we have our own language and our own dialect, and people don't understand that. I remember one of two things that bothered me when I started coming to Krishna consciousness. One of the things that bothered me is that the Mataji will call me Prabhu when I was 3 days in Krishna consciousness. And I was thinking, what is this Prabhu? What does it mean? I couldn't understand. It kind of bothered me that somebody will not call me by my name, but by Prabhu, and I didn't know what Prabhu means. And all the time, I was just so used to Krishna consciousness, and especially Mata, Prabhu, can you clean the floor, Prabhu? I said, what is this Prabhu? What does it mean? And also another thing that bothers me when people say Hare Krishna instead of hello. It's bothering. I remember it was bothering me. Because I didn't want to feel that I'm obliged to be part of this religion. It's like if you go to the mosque or wherever for the first time and somebody comes, Salam alaikum, and you need to reply the same way. It's kind of bothering because you are not identified with that religion. You don't want to be yet part of that religion if you want to be in the future. So we need to keep all these things in mind, understand that people don't know anything about Krishna consciousness. They don't understand anything about Krishna consciousness, and we should go very slowly. Like when the baby starts growing, you give little milk, and then when it starts growing more, you give more milk. And then when they develop, they teach you with solid food. But sometimes people come to Krishna consciousness and we want to give everything. We want to cover all the topic of Krishna consciousness in half an hour. And we want to, and people just get confused. They come to the temple of the half and they just confused. They tell you so many things. This is not the way. We should gradually introduce them to the different aspects of Krishna consciousness. There will be some people that only will be interested in something. I remember we had a group of Mormons that were coming to the temple, and they were fascinated by the fact that we can have 5 types of relationship with God. That we can be a servant, you can be a friend, you can be like a father. They were fascinated, and they come to the temple only to hear about that. So we only talk about that with them. And different people will have different ways. So a perfect preacher or an expert preacher will be able to assess what is the interest of the person and only go that way, only preach through that channel to that person and not talk about everything. And people often get overwhelmed by this type of preaching, and we think, okay, we are talking about Krishna, they will get spiritual benefit, and definitely they will, but that may prevent them to become devotees. It's like overfeeding a baby. It's not going to work. The baby is going to get some benefit, but it's going to be detrimental in the long run. So this is the things that we always need to keep in mind when we preach to new people. We should be very, very, very careful. We should be very careful. And the main thing is to be friendly with them. This is the main thing, to be friendly with them. and they see that there's something they can relate to. They're not just some type of thing. I remember when I was living in Argentina in a temple, we have a neighbor. He had this balcony. From his balcony, this neighbor could see the backyard of the temple, where the devotees used to sit on the floor and eat prasadam and do all, devotional activities, like chant japa, whatever. And we see often he will start blaspheming the devotees from his balcony, shouting and yelling at the devotees. He was like a very angry guy. And one time I saw a very interesting scene. I went to this backyard and I saw this guy shouting at the devotees. And there was Mataji was Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. And they were Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. The devotees were like this. And this guy keeps shouting. So I went with the temple president to this guy to knock at his door. In a very peaceful manner, we asked him, I heard that there were some problems with us. Please talk about it. And then this guy, for 5 minutes, he was blasting at us. He was saying all kinds of things and criticizing and blaspheming. But after 5 minutes, we didn't react. We just listened to him. He became peaceful. So we started talking with him. And we apologized for any inconvenience we had created, and we left. This guy never bothered us again because he understood this is people I could have a conversation with. It's not just a crazy cult that they are all brainwashed and they don't know what to say. I can have a conversation with him, with them, and they can understand me, and I can understand them. But we have another neighbor on the other side. This is in this side. We have another neighbor on the other side. And he was like a real demon. He was a little demon. What he will do on Sunday feast, when it was time for Sunday feast, he will go outside of his house. He was just next door, and he would prevent people from coming to the temple. He would say, no, 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 don't go there. This is a sect. They are very dangerous people. Don't go to this program. And if some people they were confused and they would leave. So every Sunday, one of us will go and try to stop this guy from doing this. And he was creating so much disturbance to the temple. We tried to speak with him. We tried all kinds of things. We tried to speak with his wife. They wouldn't listen. Because Hare Krishna movement was quite new in that particular city. And most of people think that we were just a cult, just a sect. So it was very difficult to preach in that situation. So one time, one guy came, Bhakta Victor, and he was a very funny guy. He was coming from like a gypsy background. Before he was doing all kinds of dodgy things, stealing and all kinds of things. And he was quite a character, very funny. He used to make us laugh all the time. And he will speak in Spanish, but with American accent. I don't know why he likes that. He was like speaking with American accent. And he said, "Don't worry, I will call this guy and I will sort it out." So we had tried so many things. Okay, let's give it a try. But we had no clue what he's going to say. So he looked up in the yellow pages and he found the telephone number, the landline of the neighbor. So he phoned him up. We had no idea what he's going to say. And he said, look, we are a very dangerous sect. If you don't stop bothering us, we will kill you, we will kill your wife, we will kill your 2 kids, and we will keep this stupid dog that you have bothering us as well. And we were shocked. We couldn't believe he said that. And we all know this guy's he's gonna put us in a lot more trouble now. This guy will be angry, he will call the police, we will be in big trouble now. But believe it or not, the guy never bothered us again. Never ever. And we see the kids that were going outside all scared. And the dog even didn't bark anymore. I don't know what happened. But he didn't bark anymore. Before he was so annoyed, this dog barking. This is, of course, is not a orthodox type of preaching that we are. In fact, that's not even appropriate to do something like that. And we don't encourage this kind of preaching. But time, place, and circumstances, even that was successful, gave a good result. So Narada is like that. He preached different people, different things. Like he said, comes, you should be careful with this Krishna. Anyone could be Krishna, any of the sons of the Bhakti and Vasudev could be your killer. So you need to be careful with this Krishna. Don't trust them. And you see, comes a kill one by one because of the preaching of Narada. So time, place, and time, place, and people. This is a very important consideration that we preach Krishna consciousness. But the main thing is we should always assess the other person before start preaching and try to give Krishna consciousness in a very spiritual way. And in this way, this will give them this higher taste that is needed. And when they get a higher taste, then we can go further and we can instruct them further. And I repeat, I'm not saying we should not give lectures or we should not. But in Kali Yuga, people are not philosophically inclined. And I wanted to ask you, when you came to Krishna consciousness for the first time, did you come to Krishna consciousness and you went to the temple first time and you heard a lecture and boom, you decided, my God, now I will give up everything and I will become a devotee. Did it happen to you? No. And did it happen to you that you went to the temple and you hear a kirtan, you took prasad and you feel inspired to become a devotee? So we see the chances that person will come and hear a lecture and become a devotee are practically 0%. These are the statistics. It's very low chances. But the people to come to Krishna consciousness and take prasad and participate in kirtan is more important than lectures. I'm saying again, I'm not saying you should not give lecture properly established, you should give Bhagavatam class. This is also important, but we should give what people need. I saw one situation one time, won't mention any names, but I saw this young girl who was coming. Well, the first time she was in the temple room participating in the kirtan, and one Prabhu called her out of the temple and started preaching to her. And I thought, this is so wrong. She's already being preached by doing the kirtan, because they said preaching is not only lectures, it's also kirtan, prasad, it's also preaching. I thought, this is so wrong. He should allow her to be in the kirtan, to enjoy the kirtan, to get a taste for the holy name, and then, if needed, then preaching, lecture, whatever. Francis of Assisi, he said, he was a great saint, he said, we should preach the gospel all the time, and if necessary, you can use words. So we should preach all the time, if necessary, we can use words. What does it mean? It means that we should keep this process in such a way that the person gets a taste, and this taste comes from mainly prasadam and kirtan. And if necessary, we should give the gospel, but not in the very beginning. And one good thing is we should try to give a small box to the people and know Bhagavad Gita from the beginning, because Bhagavad Gita is very hard to digest. Best to give a small box until the people develop the taste for reading, and then they can read Bhagavad Gita, but not in the very beginning. This is my experience. I don't know if the others will agree with that. Yeah, give patient consciousness little by little. That's the best way to preach. And in this way, we will see that many people become attractive. And yeah, that's the way. Is there any questions? Comments?
Third translation. So, must be getting wrong. So, at this point in the pastime, is it Hiranyakashipu is going to perform austerities, right?
Sorry?
At this point in the pastime, like in this chapter what we read, and Hiranyakashipu is going to perform austerities.
Yeah.
He has not met Lord Brahma, has not performed austerities. So third text it says, alas, how as a serpent is eaten by small ants, so the troublesome Hiranyakashipu, who always inflicted miseries upon all types of people, now has now been defeated by the reactions of his own sinful activities. What does this mean by? And is it correct? Like he has not yet started terrorizing the universe and has now been defeated by the reactions of his own sinful activities.
Basically, they're saying he's already doomed because he's a demon. And he always created disturbances. Even before he performed austerities, even before he met Lord Brahma, he was always inflicting fear in others. Because demons, even when they are, even when Hiranyakashipu he was going to school, he was also killing, his friend, like people of the same age, and he was also creating all kinds of disturbances. So what they are saying that he is doomed by his own activities, because he was already performing all type of demoniac activities even before he got the full power. When he got full power, he became worse. He became worse. Okay, you confused. No, thank you. This one.
Thank you for the class. It's great for preaching. I think a lot of that has been in my mind as well, because the recent policy of no preaching to volunteers. Yeah, I was wondering how to do that, because so you answered a lot of that. Thank you. I was just wondering, when I'm giving books to members and that happens, sometimes I feel like the little books are, they're good, but sometimes I feel maybe a Bhagavad Gita would make it more, like every religion has their book, So whenever they ask me, so what is the book? Bhagavad Gita is like the Bible or Krishna consciousness. So would you recommend that in any case, just to maybe give that as an alternative, because that will then solidify that is what we base our religion on, is on the Bible.
I would say that you should give a small book first. Because in all this small book, there are references to Bhagavad Gita. So often when I see people will read the small book, they say, but what is this Bhagavad Gita? And then you can read the Bhagavad Gita. But problem with Bhagavad Gita, and I also remember when I got the Bhagavad Gita, one of the first things I got, and I was confused by the Sanskrit. And I was thinking, what is this language? I mean, how? It's not so easy to read because of the Sanskrit transliteration and all this word by word and all these things. The people, it's become difficult. But when you have the small books, it's practically no Sanskrit and it's easier for people to read. It's easy reading. But they will definitely, if they read the small book, they will ask for the Bhagavad Gita, and then you can give. But not like the very first book, I would say. But everyone is different. There are people who are ready for it, naturally ready for it, because they probably read a lot of yoga books and a lot of spiritual books that are like kind of ready for it. And in that case, every case is different. This is like a teacher need to adjust to analyze before.
I don't know, in the small books, thank you for your answer. In small books, one of my neighbours who's a Christian, she said, oh, I love the book. I think it's so good that Prophet gave the Hindus, a better alternative to what they were doing. I could really agree with the book, but as soon as she came across something that sort of, her point of view, she never told me what it was. She just saw something that went against Christianity in her view. So there's just some reference to, oh, this is better than Christianity because, and that just put her off straight away. And I never found out what it was in that book that said it, but it just put her off. So have you had experience with that, or what would you say to the person who's read that in a small book?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, you can just I never come across a situation like that, but you should encourage person to keep reading because this will be clarified. Normally, it's just not like Prabhupada say things like, okay, Christian conscience is better than Christianity. He never said this kind of thing. In fact, you can say that Srila Prabhupada was encouraging people to follow their own religions, to become better Christian, better Muslim. Prabhupada many times said, don't give up your religion, just be better Christian or better Muslim or whatever. So we can also explain that if somebody comes with that argument, we can say, but Srila Prabhupada never encouraged anyone to give up their religion, rather to be a better example of the religion. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
Gandaki Prabhu ki
Jai.